All right. Welcome back to my expanded divine panel of the infinite eight to divinely intervene as needed for my highest good, aka the highest good. It is quite early of start to get ready, and I'm gonna honor that because there's no reason to go back into slumbers. I went to bed at a decent time, and I'm just gonna roll with this one. This one is Operation Empress Diaries number 34, going back down to the 7, the Chariot card, and this is labeled as When the Tough Get Going. Okay, for obvious reasons. Okay, all right. So left side, the King of Pentacles in reversal. It's someone that's highly manipulative. Again, it's an external. That's on the recipient box. That's what I'm going to be kind of facing probably today or the next couple of days. Something that I would just have to anticipate whether this week or next week. But let's just go ahead and move it along and say it's going to be this week. And what's most prominent for me to remember is picking up from my previous reads. The takeaways dominantly are that this week is going to turn up for me. And no one can stop me from receiving my 10 of Pentacles, my, my all that phase. And then some, okay? That's wonderful, okay? On the right side, this is so funny. This is hilarious. I'm just noticing that it's the King of Wands in reversal. It's also someone who is manipulative, but with their network. This is a big player, okay? And so the big player can reach into many pockets, not just the pentacle portion of the deck. And so that's wonderful to see. It's like I not only have access to multiples of you, but masteries in other suits that can, not just move the needle, but twist it, bend it. Oh, what's up? Oh gosh, I have to put this in a smaller tone. Yes, nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up for sure. It's surprising to see you. I thought you had a regular job. Yeah, I thought for some reason sometimes my thoughts get carried away with me, and I imagine you to have don't tell me what your job is, seriously. Don't do it in public. Don't say it out in public. Okay, so this is wonderful to see. Traction. Okay. What else do we need to say about this? Well, this is more about me because this is Operation Empress Diary, so no worries if you gotta click off or, are looking more for yourself. But this is about, I got to get going. And I'm already tough. I just gotta put it out there. Without it being like, like Groot level. Your own body. Yeah, me too, but I gotta get out there. I gotta get that. But I'm telling you, okay, so what came to me this morning was my body is in fact flexing or morphing according to what others like, and or yeah, what's up? Or like, I don't know what it is. It depends on who's around me, because yesterday I was busting out of my clothes just like roly-poly-oly, muffin topville, and today, I mean, it was just a few hours. I don't understand. I don't understand it. But again, the blessing in disguise is I get to appreciate myself in a variety of avenues. And it's not cookie cutter. Like one day I might be plump and then the next day I'm not, but according to the context of what's going on in the day, it like I said, it's not cookie cutter. Whatevs. It's just aesthetics, honestly. But aesthetics can certainly alter your psychology, your emotional like vibe, and so it's not as simple as that. Okay, so we can't dumb down that atmosphere. All right, so we're gonna move into this. I haven't been called to this deck in a while, so let me see here. Add this back. No, -1 card because it's on my altar. Shh. All right. Okay, so this is the Segue. We're using the Hayworth Tarot. I kind of like it. All right. Okay. Segue cards say. Oh, okay. First off, this is just, I just got to feels of this. Like, what is this? Late breaking news? No. Reminders. Put on notice? Reminders. Okay. Call to action? No, just FYI. Okay. This is FYI. Reminders. Good to know. Psh, what is it? Queen of Wands in reversal. Not only am I the king. All right. Yeah, this is in fact internal, whereas this is external. Okay, so internal. If I am the King of Wands and I am the master in the puppetry of many like networks. I have that much pull, is what they're saying. It's not like, oh, remember that time I did that for you? May I remind you? So in those facets, that's not what I do. I could do it if I want to, but it's like only like the last resort, because I don't, like I said, like I said in the last reading, I don't like to steer people the wrong way. It has to be absolutely visible. I'm not in the habit or the business of playing simps or making, like, morphing people into simps. So I just don't believe in that. And so this is just having automatic pull, which is wonderful. Okay, on the doing side. And then, so they're saying, may I remind you, Teda, you are the Queen of Wands. Also in reverse. So this is being, I don't know why they're saying this, objectifying your magic. So, this is, tastefully, placing, I don't know. This is tasteful charms. Like, this is being very selective with with how I would like to charm certain areas of my life. Yeah, okay. So this is also about wooing myself with magic, meaning that, like, I get to choose how I present myself in certain atmospheres. If I'm going to be presented with some bullshit, of course, I'm going to endow myself in charms. Of course. I can see where it's best suited to be very hard-lined and be the king, or side with the King of Swords. And in other atmospheres, I know when people have egos stuffed way up their asses, and they come from a strong lineage of that bullshit, that maybe it's best to just, like, play with that. Maybe that, because I know when people have huge ass egos, they are so much more resistant to the energy of, I told you so. Yeah, I'll put you in your place. Yeah, you little bitch. So. So, for me, maybe it's best to have that little feminine touch. Maybe just look a little pretty, and say, well, I see your position, but I shall raise you this. So this is a little bit of, like, not straight up poker face, but knowing what game I'm in, what game they're trying to play. So it's just showing up to the table and saying, well, I've got a good hand here, and I admire your your gall, but in some aspects, if you do not heed what I present, it's more of, you're gonna come off with the energy of the audacity of that bluff, right? So it's just trying to, like, maybe not in so many words, but that's the energy there, the psychology behind it. You want to assert that without having to say it all. And so it's just easier for them to like it's that it's easier for them to process and be more willing when you have that feminine touch and you play into that, do the role play, okay? So instead of being a bitch with the Queen of Swords in reversal, this is more of like, I'm a pretty bitch, you know? I'm a girly bitch, you know? I gotta stand up for myself. What do you expect me to do? You just want me to be a bitch? you want me to be like, the Queen of Pentacles, like in reversal, matching your suit, and just like a little like naggy with the energy, and overspending in a certain area, like falter to just kind of fit into, like that's why you need me, that kind of energy. Fuck that. That's the other way of saying, like, that's the other way of stroking the ego and saying, like, rather than I told you so, like, and then giving like an absolutely not, this is like, well, I'm inferior, blah blah blah. Then it's the also reaching the same kind of result. So okay, all right, so this is the segue, or more on this segue, left, right. Okay, so this is the recipient side and this is the doing side. As is, or let's see. Okay, that's correct. Okay, left side. King of Wands, look at that. Look what I attracted. Not only am I like in this mode, am I am I this is crazy. That's like that's like a family of wands. This is my whole network showed up. Like, you rang, my dear. Yes, what did you say? What would you like, my love? This is crazy. I've never seen such a thing. Again, a sandwich. There's strong energies here. This is crazy. This is crazy. King of Wands right here? What the heck? Showing up in upright. At your attention, man. At your attention. Is it straight like that or like that? I think it's... This feels a little messy. But it's like, that's the marker right there. If you go like that, then it's... I'm trying to see. I'm trying... What? The sun's in my eyes. So I think it's like that. Anyway, why does that even matter? I don't know. Form is important, especially when you're going military. So, oh yeah, okay, so King of Wands, that's on the recipient side. This is kind of at your attention, my dear. Okay. Hey, what's up? And then on the right side, Two of Pentacles in reversal. This is like, the things are kind of like loading, dot, and then that formulation of another dot on the text, basically, on communication. So people are at the edge of the seats. This is the waiting. All right, interesting. Oh, this is like, this is batter up. They hit the ball. Okay, they were pitched something. They hit the ball. It makes that like nostalgic sound of a bat cracking, basically. And everybody's like, it's loading. Yeah, it's like dot, dot, and it's like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? You see it like get some air, and you're like, you know what? That sound is nostalgic of a home run. It kind of is, dude. I don't know. And so everybody's up in arms, like, and like they're standing up in the stadium, and they're like, the home team is like, is it gonna make it? Is it gonna make it? And then the opposing side is like, I. Is it, that kind of energy? Okay, so that's where it is. That's where it stands. It's like mid-air, and it's whenever it gets like that, it's always slow mo. um Life's reality check and going slow mo. You just never know the way the wind's gonna blow. and, then, and then and then it's a home run. That's what that is. Because like this guy is like, he can blow smoke, but in upright, this is like, I know where that's going, so I'm gonna have a little bit of a cigarette or whatever. This is the energy behind it. Like, yeah, that just happened. This is where you brag to your friends. It happened. It happened. You know what the details are. You could only imagine. Anyway, this is what I was talking about. Omega Land Tarot, where things go like, things are haywire. Oh, look, the poker hand. People at the table, seated at the table. I know what I'm being admitted into. How interesting is that? Isn't it? Isn't it? Tell me. Okay. So, I have not used this deck in probably at least a year, which is fan-freaking-tastic. Okay, feeling the feels, a new vibe on this. Okay. All right. So now for the header cards. So one thing though is that, like, okay, let's do a little bit more of like a clear form of a reality check. Okay. If this, right. Okay. If this is the energy card and it is clarified by this energy, this is external. It is upright. It is well intended moreover. But this is saying, oh, you want to play like that? Well, I've got my own assets too. I have my own connections. Boom! That's what's happening there. And then, then I'm like, okay, neener. All right, well, okay, I have to remember the magic touch. Okay, well, it's like, oh, me, oh my. That's a bit of a turn on. Okay, well, you know what? My contacts are near and far wide. So let's just see about that, because my contacts may also dip into your arena. Let's see who has the leverage. Mommy might. Hot mama may have more of a leverage. Not because I'm female, but because I whatchamacallit? This is just an identity thing. Like, I've got hot potatoes. Here, we're working with hot potatoes. And I know how to work with hot potatoes. This is not saying like, oh, I've got pussy, so it's not that. This is it's not my first time at the hot potato rodeo. Yeah. If anyone knows most about the hot potato, it's me. I know how to shish kebab them. If anyone's gonna pass the buck, especially if it's a hot potato, I'm the one that fucking knows. Okay? You know, I know. You know that dynamic. So it's more of like that card, okay? But like being nice about it. Yes. Sometimes I've got to worry, moving forward, if I am the personality hire. If people elect me because I got that personality, that panache, that pizzazz. Pizzazz. It's like, what the fuck does it matter? You know, back in the day, people used to hire based on like, oh, you were from that fraternity? Oh. Oh. What, do you remember this, Professor blah, blah, blah? Yes, what a dick. So, you know, that guy, he and I go way back. You know, so, like, people used to hire based on, like, oh, you come from this prestigious college? Our VP comes from there. Oh, our CEO dabbled in that. You know, like, if you're gonna work it like that, like, what was stopping me from working it in my legitimacy, you know? So there's that. Okay, so, okay, where is this next? Okay, right here. Now, for the header cards. Boop. 3, 2, 1. Chase, chase, place. Okay, 5 of Cups in reverse. This is a goodbye, a graceful goodbye, bowing out of something. So this is kind of like, this is, instead of calling a bluff, this is kind of a conversational, I'm gonna suss you out if it's a bluff or not. And you realize, motherfucker, this is not. I could lose a whole shit ton if I if I continue to kind of bet against this. And so that's on the recipient side. This is an energy, right? Okay. So this is saying that their networks also have reason to opt out, like, oh, dude, no, that's not my vibe. You know, that kind of energy. That's not my flavor, or I'm booked out, or something like that. And even if they have other leads that I'm not, like, that are not under my umbrella, this is more like this energy having to, what is it, bow out? It's kind of like, fold. That's what it is, to fold. That's a graceful way uh, of working, of following through with the game without turning the tables, like, fuck this, you know, like we're playing dominoes and like it's just tantrum, like nobody's gonna win, that kind of energy, or we're gonna leave it in limbo and we don't know who won, so everybody's just gotta collect their shit back, so everybody's mad. So it's not. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't know. Let me see here. Is it working? Is it working? Oh, it is working. Yay! It works. Okay. That's the benefit of having a duo set up. Yes, I like it very much. Yes, I like it very much. I just wanted to do that. Anyway, right side. Okay. Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum on my drums. Come, they told me. Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. The new board game. All right, so what is this? Okay, this is the header card. Okay, internal, external, energy. This is internal. Okay, this is stand by, my queen, my empress. You know, that's what it is. Okay, coming with this. Like, so this is for me also to remain patient, okay? Because remember, this is me, and then this is still me, okay? Like, this is a divine hookup, like my personal assets, okay? Remember that. I am balanced, yin and yang, even in reversal with the wand suit. So this is networking, not just like knowing yourself and what you bring to the table and how to turn the tables internally, but also the, you know, the obvious on the externals, what we just described. So there's a loading period, like dot, dot, dot. Almost like it's like a tap dance. And so in reversal here, this is wonderful. So see, this is like stand by. Okay, my lady. Okay, what do I move forward with now? Okay. This one. New World. Is it New World? Next World. Next World Tarot. Okay. So I don't have my coffee right now. I have my tea left over from last night. And even with the seal, it's like it's a semi-warm. But even though thank you. Even though I wanted thank you for confirming. Even though I wanted to have my coffee and I'll have something hot to ingest, like I just know how important it is to start off, like, anytime you can with something more, like, to dilute your system, to wash out, whatever. And so this one's, you know, it's tea instead of coffee. It's semi-warm. It's all right. It's okay. It's good. Doing its job. All right. So when the tough get going. All right. Okay. So this is what we're okay. Okay. What do you want to tell me right now before I load up on my breakfast? And my cognitive states. I don't know why I did that. Okay. The star in reverse. It is being born with the yeah, this is knowing that you rock it. That I rock it. Oh my god. Oh my god, I get first. First I've got God to thank. I've got, you know, etc., etc. This is not just receiving the Emmy award, but feeling I am the Emmy. I am the future. Okay, anyway, this is suspension. This is the Hangman card in reversal. So this is enlightenment. And this is I bring the hope. I mean, this is kind of like self-glorified, it kind of feels like. But this is in the context of like wanting the best for all parties. Like, we all know what kind of deep shit we're into, especially the ones that are meaning to do me harm, that have meant to do me harm, that didn't mean to, but they were elected into doing that much more harm. Like, I didn't mean to, like, make it hurt that bad. Like, I just meant to, like, you know, nudge her. I didn't mean to push her over a cliff, you know? That kind of shit. So there are different degrees of deep shit here. And so it's like I just want what's best for all parties, like in all fairness. Like, is that so much to ask? You know, like, fuck. Okay, so we're bringing over the horseshoe, the good luck charms from the previous reading, and that's on the right foot. Like, I'm moving forward with that. And then here on the other side, the left side, it's like a balancing act on the left-hand path. It's like, isn't that impressive enough? Okay. I just pulled a Houdini right before your eyes, and you're still questioning me? You're still questioning the validity of this shit? Fuck, let's see you do this, okay? And so this is enlightenment, okay? And this is the star card. Like, I really hope things are going to pan out for the best. And I really believe they will, but I would hope that it's not going to make the ball drop for anyone, okay? We don't have to go there. I'm trying to keep things in balance, mind you, for everyone's suit. But if worse comes to worse, I will let that ball drop. I will not break a sweat even further. I will not attempt at going above and beyond for people who will not go above and beyond for me. And so if that ball drops, that's not representative of me. Okay? So let's just hope that things are going to, you know, break out in its ideal aspect, knowing how much deep shit we're in, okay? Okie dokie, the tough get going. Sometimes I have to repeat this stuff because sometimes I forget like where we're going with it, like what the context is. But it's all in alignment. Knight of Swords. Things are moving quickly. You know how fast, how quickly things are moving? Where is this deck? Look. It's moving quickly. That is the face card. You don't see the title over here. You see it right over here. The tough get going. How freaking crazy is that? I did not expect to see that. All right, that was a surprise. I was just like, I was just called to like pull it. Unleash the beast. Six of Wands. Yeah, this is pending victory or a loss. It cut to this part too, so I don't know what this is. A Hierophant. Yeah, this is kind of like pending victory. This is the lawmaker. This is the one that's like, this is the one that hires and fires in like the domestic aspect. So this is the one that does the wedding and the divorces. This is whether within intimate form or I think business partnership type of energy. So this is dissolution energy as well as unifying. And this is kind of like seeing things through to pending victory. Okay. So this one is neither internal nor external with its label, but more so energy. So it's just trying to see things through. Like this is actually like a SWOT analysis, like looking out the window, looking at the landscape. You know, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats to see through to victory. Okay. Okay, hopping over to this deck. I have the Ankh on my necklace. All right, Seven of Cups, Two of Wands, and the Sun card. How wonderful this is. How applaudable this is. I think you just barely also caught on to what my eyes locked in on the bottom of the deck, or the portion of the deck being the Sun card. I kind of chose to ignore it because I didn't know its placement on like where it was really at. But this is there's options. Okay. There's options for me. This is an internal card. Okay. This is being able to not just see things through, but also see things from where they're for what they are. So here is kind of like the impression of Three of Wands, but it's also embedded here like the Seven of Wands energy. This is ultimate leverage and being able to look down at the scope. So this is kind of like bird's eye view, but not being midair. This is being fortified on ground. And so it's just highly advantageous within the Three of Wands aspect. So this is knowing that, you know, my ships are coming along. Like, oh, I see the smokestack of, you know, whatever, you know, this boat that's coming through. I see like, so that's kind of, in its primitive form, like who's making like a fire on a ship? Like, are you fucking crazy? No, this is more of like the elevated version, like I don't know, a yacht, like there's electronic like cooks, you know, the smokestack or whatever, coming from that boat. Okay, so this is whatever's coming in for me, I know is so much more elevated, stocked, decked, etc. It's not your bare bones boat coming through. This is you know, they have advancements that don't compromise their boat afloat. And so that's coming in for me. So that's wonderful. I mean, this is like, you know, like an image where this is like the understanding of heaven, like, but this is in its like fantasy like. So I was like, oh yeah, natural born killers, like in its raw state. I see angels, Mickey, and they're coming down for us from heaven. I see them big white horses frothing all in the mouth. That kind of energy. And so that's like this big ray of sunshine with like unicorns and all this manatees, you know, flying out. And so this is blaring. This is obvious. This isn't just a floodlight, but this is an energetic drip of the void, limitless opportunities. And you know how limitless this is? This is pouring into the seeds of the sunflowers, which is reminiscent of or representative of the Queen of Wands. And part of this, in this loading part, I just realized, look at the hands. Look at the hands. You see what I'm saying? This is an element of the Queen of Wands. I can only do so much. I can only pull so much out of this, like, Mary Poppins bag. And so here, this is a surrender. And so the Queen of Wands is usually depicted with the, sunflowers. And to see this is magnificent. Not only does surrender bring so much more opportunity, but a shit ton, a magical elephant, Ganesh shit ton of blessings. You know how many seeds are in like an actual sunflower? You know that those are consumable as well. Like, and it's like an elevated version of the Candula. Is it Candula? Calendula energy. These are the superior form of them. And so it's wonderful to see. Wonderful to see this. So, like, I cannot, I have to remind myself with every challenge presented, the more complex, the more complex it is, the greater the benefits. Not just like the greater the lessons and the processing, etc., but like knowing that, okay, just let's rewind back, okay? And just for the sake of learning comes through repetition and the playfulness of the arena. And so looking back, I am so proud of myself. Like it makes me want to cry a little. I'm so proud of myself for submitting in those divorce papers without knowing, well, with knowing how my family would feel about that, how much opposition I would hear back and forth, even the things that I don't hear but I know are happening beyond, like with the extended family. Did you hear this and that? Like, and you learn to let go of your ego, and you realize people are going to be how they're going to be. Like, is that any different from who you knew them to be before? This is just like, um, seeing them in a different light, from a different position. Like now I'm under the magnifying glass, Now I'm under that scope. And so it's like, what shit really does matter, right? And so when you get over that fear of how am I going to kind of talk to these people, and once I see their god awful truth of how they see me, possibly, like the worst case scenario, like how am I going to be able to digest that and be able to really like process how I see them now? How am I going to process the ins and outs of that? And so when you come from a very traditional family, and people like keeping up with the Jonases, like certain facets of it, and then another portion being like looking the other way, but like also talking the other way, the other side of their mouth. It's just like that's reality, and that's the macrocosm in its microscopic sense. So just like you do what you do. Like I can't live my way like constantly like with like my like head down and like crouched over, like trying to protect myself, like only I know me, and that's got to be like worth something for now. Like to live my life in dormancy is like, fuck that. No, I am, and more so, the blessing of not having my kids live through the worst of it. And I have to say, like, that's our kids that have to see the worst of it. If it's just my kids, okay, then there's some kind of detachment on like, oh, this dude's that dude's a piece of work. Like that's some That's a different kind of fuckery right there. But to know that that's your dad, you know, like, no. So that's a different psychological, like, that's a different ecosystem of understanding in itself. So to forward the efforts in, like, I'm not gonna put up with this shit as long as, like, I am involved in as the as a person that has to answer this on behalf of the younglings. Fuck that. No. And so that's the first step. And so just knowing the impact of that, like, if we were still just living under those conditions, do you know how much um even if I play the young promising what do you call it, trad wife of, like, you know, you have it your way, etc., etc., I can tell, like, this dude was going off the deep end, like, hiding around with doing different drugs and this and that, and he would still be trying to like, I knew things were happening underneath my nose, like the um like what was starting to happen. But, like, I was like, oh no, that person's really nice, you know, we've been to her house, she's seen her kids, and etc. And, like, and some people, like, you think one version of fuckery is like, I don't give a fuck about what's happening in your life. I've met, and then you realize that there's another realm of fuckery that's like, um, that doesn't give a shit about their life. Their kids are grown, and, you know, and they're still, like, it gives them permission slip because they see, like, the ugliness of the world to bring on the ugly for everybody else. And so, like, their life is an absolute mockery. And so it's like, oh well, you that was meant to happen or whatever. But to save me and my kids from furthering that, like, it could have gotten so much worse. It was already getting really, really, really bad. And so, like, dude, this like, tying up loose ends, like, it may be a drag to, like, encounter some bullshit in the courts, and they're used to that. They're used to that. So they're probably jaded to how they handle things. Not everybody, but that's you know, it's kind of like, oh, are you going to work with that permission slip too in your arena? Um, and so, like, it's going to be done. Like, either way you look at it, it's going to be done. And judgment, like, true judgment, is going to come along. People are not going to have to wait in line for their, like, the final judgment or what's going to happen right before they die. You know, like, the last, somebody doesn't want me to say this, but it's going to come even with, like, an advance. Here you go. Let me give you a flavor of, like, how your destiny changed because of some fuckery that some fuck up you did, some glorified fuck up that you did on this case. And so, you know, they don't have to wait till their final days. So, no, no. For people who don't have a conscience, and they don't have to be, let's say, like, necessarily satanic and or this and that, but, or like, they don't believe in God. They don't have to be any variation of that. They could be, like, practicing Catholics, Christians, or whatever the fuck. And because they don't see the consequence in of immediacy in their lives, they can just go on, like, you know, God is good to me, at least. You know, I must be doing just fine. You know, nothing struck me. You know, that kind of energy. Oh, certainly things will strike you. So that's you know, just allow things to follow through. Okay, so I'm not necessarily in the hot seat to do this or that. It's just face when the tough gets going and someone's going to corner me, like, if I am absolutely cornered into just working with what I have right now rather than lining them up more, like, more organized, and here are your